If you want to market more effectively, if you want to reach more prospects in a meaningful way, listen very closely. I'm Justin Hitt with Ad Briefing's Copywriting Tips. I want to share with you something very valuable that most marketers don't understand. Now, many marketers know that you can use analytics and tracking to follow the visitors on your website. You can use behavioral tracking to measure conversion rates. You can use segmentation and testing in order to determine if one audience responds to an ad better than another audience. And then so on and so on and so on. In fact, there's database marketing where you can pin data and use demographics and psychographics and different types of flags in a database, again, to zero in on the right buyers. Now, first off, as a marketer, copywriter, or business development professional, you understand these things, but many of your customers do not know this even exists. Your customers don't know that you can take an audience and do what's called self-selection. Let's say you have an audience of 5,000 individuals, the prospects in a marketplace. You can slice and dice that list into cells, and those cells send the same marketing piece, and then build down to which cell predicts the highest response or sales from a particular marketing piece. Your customers don't know that. Your clients don't know that. They wouldn't know how to manage that campaign if it dropped on their lap and they had all the funding to do it. In fact, they're just probably going to send the same letter to 5,000 people and then be upset that your copy didn't work because it went out to all these people and nobody did anything. It's the old Valpak discussion. I sent it to 5,000 households and nobody purchased. You've got to be smarter than that. Now, it is possible, little side conversation, it is possible that you didn't understand a damn thing that I said, and you don't know anything about market segmentation. You don't know anything about testing. You don't know anything about that zeroing in to help an audience self-select. So forgive me if you understand those things. I'm going to share first the concept of a decision tree when it comes to marketing. So you've got content on a website. You've got an index that lists 10 articles. Of the visitors to that page, if you randomly listed the articles, you will find that some articles get more clicks than others. So you have a large audience that comes to a website, and some click on some articles more than others. Now, if each of those 10 articles are unique topics, all within the same theme, you're going to discover something that's very interesting. You're going to discover which topics are of higher desire to the visitors of that site. Now, you can flip it over and you can determine of the topics which segments, which parts of that traffic are more interested in one topic than another. This is basically called a topic test, and there's a couple ways of doing it, but the topic test would reveal what are the key topics and what are the key audiences that take action on those topics. Once you have that, you can use retargeting to go back and deliver specific ads to the specific audience. So if people clicked on, in the case of Ad Briefing's Copywriting Tips, if they clicked on how to write copy that sells, and it tended to be younger copywriters, so age demographic, it tended to be copywriters who are freelancers, then I would put an ad in front of younger freelancers to learn how to write copy that sells. I'd offer them word power. Now, if I found out that the clicks of running a copywriting business tended to be older copywriters who were in an agency or they were beyond freelance, meaning they had a good client base, I would have a different audience target to this other group with an ad that said, let's talk about the business of copywriting. Do you see where I'm coming from here? You can take that large audience and divide it up by their behavior to a 3 to 5 option select. Now, on a website, it's really easy because you can actually post new content every week. And of that content, if it's properly developed and properly structured, I'm writing a whole report on this right now, so it's top of mind. You could actually determine which audiences like which topics and then go back to that audience with a paid ad to drive them into an offer specific to their topic and then move them towards a larger offer on the back end. Now, it could be the same back end offer for everybody, but again, we got to capture the lead. And we talked about that many times. The purpose of a web page is to, one, capture a lead or to make a sale. But ultimately, what we've done here is we've divided the larger group up. Now, what does that do? Well, if you've got a list of 5,000 people and it's $1 a contact, that's $5,000. If your client does not have a budget to do $5,000, well, you probably shouldn't be working with them. But if they don't have a budget to do $5,000, you can actually split that up using intelligence or a logical means of dividing and start zeroing in on what matters. So what do you say to the client? Hey, you want to reach these 5,000 people? Tell me about the buyers you already have. Okay, so now the 5,000 people, we're going to focus specifically on people who look like existing customers. Hey, are you using a retargeting cookie on your website? Okay, are you appending your data to learn more about your customers? Let's drill down on that. Then you do a soft test. So if it costs $1 to send to each of the 5,000 people, you narrow your focus down to a segment of those individuals and you send them a postcard. You send them an email. Depending on your permissions, you send them something that doesn't cost very much with the purpose of getting them to select one of 3 options. Now, they could select all 3 options over time, but we're going to track the first 30 days and we're going to select, what options do they pick the most of? We're basically helping the audience with their own behavior select which category are they in. Imagine like 3 buckets. They get to pick one of the 3 buckets. And it could be, for example, you're interested in copywriting. Are you a beginning copywriter, an experienced copywriter, or an expert? Now, whichever one they click on gives them something of value, might even make an offer, but it gets them on a particular list. Now, the follow-up is specific to that list. Now, I talked about a decision tree. We essentially have one offer with 3 branches. Depending on which branch they click, it's choose your own adventure from there. Now, of course, this can get extremely complex. I gave you the example of 10 articles on a web page, randomly sorting the articles. That's 10 paths to go down. You really do need one of 3 paths. So you're going to have 3 buckets on the back end, which is going to be good, better, and best. And so you're going to figure out who gets the good offer, who gets the best offer, and who gets the most offer. But ultimately, they can choose from all 3 once they've been qualified. So, for example, it could be do it yourself. They buy a kit that teaches them how to do it. It could be done with you, where they buy a kit, but they also get your help to get started. Or it could be done for you, where they still get the kit, they still get your help to get started, except you're going to finish a product, a deliverable for them. Do you see where I'm coming from here? They eventually can choose from all 3, but you're helping them choose which one's best for them through their interactions with your website, your email, your postal mail, all of this together. Now, the challenge is integration on the backside, and it's okay to use a spreadsheet. You can use a simple spreadsheet when you run the campaign to know which segment goes where, as long as you've properly keyed your list. Now, I know for some folks, this is easy. You do this every day, and your hardest part is convincing a customer that this kind of measuring and tracking is necessary, because when you only have a $5,000 budget and you either reach them once or you drill down in that list so that you can reach the buyers more than once. That's really where we're coming from. So let's look at it in a different way. Imagine that you have a topic. The topic is the general topic of copywriting. Now, I'm going to use copywriting examples because that's what my website is about. The general topic is copywriting. You have branches off of that topic, which could be copywriting for consumers. So you're writing to consumers, copywriting for industry, copywriting for business owners. So now the general topic has been divided up by audience topic. So audience becomes a segment. Are you interested in writing for the consumer market? Are you interested in writing for the healthcare market? Are you interested in writing for financial newsletters? Do you see how we're starting to zero in on the relevance? Now, you want to do that 5 times. And I know, folks, it's a lot of work. I can help you with it. If you're with particular audiences, I can help you drill down quickly. But listen, the 5 whys is important, because we then want to ask the question, why would you want to write for consumers? That gets us into the benefits. If one of the benefits is that there's a large number of consumers, then we drill down, why do we care that there's a large number of consumers? Well, because that gives you the maximum opportunity to upscale a campaign. Why would we want to upscale a campaign? Well, because if you can upscale a campaign, it allows you to test in a small market and then roll out nationally. That gives you the maximum revenue. It gives you the maximum potential for profits. Do you see how that works? Now, each of these threads, which we demonstrate in a special report I have on topic testing, each of these threads now becomes a very specific thread to a specific audience, and now you can go straight to that audience and test the concept. Hey, are you a beginning copywriter who wants to write consumer advertising because you know about the size of the audience and how you can scale easily? You can write one piece for diabetics, and you can scale it out to the several million diabetics through a variety of products. You really want to talk about that thread, and the 5 whys helps you do that. Now, this is an exercise we do on paper. We do it with index cards. It's very easy. You don't need a mind map. You don't need special software. You don't need to sit in front of your computer where you can get distracted by another newsletter or another podcast or another Bing. We literally can whiteboard this and get it done in an hour or two, and you'll have a clear picture where you can off the cuff describe. Are you a business development professional who understands the power of communications but don't know how to make words sell? Well, that's why I want to introduce you to copywriting, because copywriting is a uniform way in order to organize your ideas and make them as persuasive as possible. As a business development professional with the power to communicate, you can go from reaching one-on-one, which is very costly and time consuming, to go from one to many. Would you like to go to one to many? Click here for more information. Do you see how it works, folks? The 5 whys helps you drill down off of initial general topic. And you can divide the general topic into an audience. You can divide it into a demographic of any kind, or a psychographic, or a desired outcome. It doesn't matter. But then you apply the 5 whys, which helps you drill down into specific threads that gives you relevance. It gives you meaning to the end user, and it gives you something to test. Because I could have a website on copywriting that has subsections that cover 3 different subsections, and people would click into the subsections. Now, if I have a beginning, middle, and experienced copywriter as one set of sections, and I have a consumer, industrial, and business market as another set of sections, I can actually give visitors the choice. And in WordPress, you can do this through tags and categories. You can actually give the visitor the choice, and then you can use the stats for each of those segment areas. In fact, if you're super sophisticated and you've got a lot of traffic, you can actually retarget by category, and then you can go with specific ads to the specific people, and boom, you're scalable, you're measurable, you provide tremendous value to your client, and you go from just writing words on paper to being a strategic intelligence of that organization. Now, you're going to learn more about that customer. So if you specialize in a particular customer niche, it's just going to blow your mind about how much you learn. But again, if you don't understand what I'm talking about, you've got to write in my office with a question, because this is the normal for me. Database marketing has been around since the 1970s. Customer segmentation and testing has been a great way to increase profits in pretty much any business. And catalog marketers have done this since the early days of Lillian Vernon. They know if you buy a certain type of home interior product, that if they offer you more of the same, you're going to buy more of the same. The difference is today we have technology that makes this so clean and work on a small level. The phone's ringing off the hook here, so let me summarize. First off, I'm Justin Hitt with Ad Briefing's Copywriting Tips. What you need to know is that you can take markets, segment them, and then using a contextual strategy, understand the needs of those segments. Then by tagging on a website or by testing with postcards or a choice of options, you can identify which those segments have the highest level of interest, and then follow up with that sales offer or campaign. So it's lead generation, but we're lead generating deliberately into buckets that contextually align with the outcomes and the offer that you want to present. So it's the young copywriter who wants to improve their skills and they want to write better copy, versus the older copywriter who wants to improve the business of copywriting so that they have greater profits. Now, once you've done this, you can take larger lists, break them down into segments, and then have segment-specific offers. For the copywriter who's going to do this with their client, it means writing 3 sales letters instead of writing 1. It's greater value for the customer. You have a higher probability of conversion, and it's also leads to the value where you would deliver campaign management, because this really does mean link tracking on 50 or 60 links. It's ridiculous at times. Did you know that every channel I have a podcast on, it has its own unique tracking link? Now, it doesn't always, because I try to get them published first, but I go back and have somebody give a unique tracking link for every channel so that I know if it was YouTube or BitChute or Parler or whatever the platform is that led to the visit, and then they go out and expand the syndication. But my point being is there is a value add that you can deliver to a client, which is managing these campaigns. So not only do they get more value for their dollar, they also get a higher conversion rate and more specific offers, which lets them do the good, better, and best, and so they can start moving towards premium pricing. Now, again, if you have any questions about this, you can visit me at www.adbriefings.co.uk. It's not as complex as it sounds, but it is essentially a decision tree that helps get people in the right place so that they can get the solutions that they need. I'm here to help copywriters, marketers, and business development professionals go out into markets, generate sales, produce results, and create outcomes with words that sell. Thanks for listening.